Awesome. Right. HODL token. Welcome everybody to the call tonight. This AMA is specifically for one of our official picks, HODL, which I've been in since day one, which we were just talking about the crazy launch that happened and, the great friendships that have been built there. Tonight, we have the official spokesperson, but also the current owner of the project on the call, Justin, also known as the HODL father. So tonight, we want to go through the call and really highlight what's happening at HODL and following up on our investments, right? Like we like to do. So tonight is really exploring the new ways that HODL is scaling, what's upcoming, different things that need to be addressed. And we will have the opportunity to ask questions at the end of the call. So Justin, if you don't mind, just to start out, we keep these really organic, and generally it's more of, us vetting out projects. And tonight, a little different, more of a presentation / update is what I'll call it, right? But anyhow, I do like to get started by learning a little more about, folks. And in this case, you and I have connected, but for the people that really, don't know you, right? Or maybe where you come from, could you just maybe share, what is your background? What brought you to DeFi and crypto and kind of how that transitioned into HODL?
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, once again, thanks for having me on this space. And, my name's Justin, obviously. What got me into HODL first was, the unique opportunity of FLC buying back 300 Ethereum. And, to get back into kind of what got my eye on the coin in the first place. Like I've been in DeFi since 2011. I used to mine Bitcoin back in the day. I've had my eye on crypto and DeFi spaces for, just about over a decade now. And I've been a part of other communities. I've moderated other communities. My real world job, if you can call it that, is a ships officer. And so I'm very good at, working with the community, working with a team, building upon that because, on a ship, obviously it's your life, you're risking it all. So I'm bringing those skills of networking and kind of team building to crypto space. And the HODL token is actually the first coin that I've really taken by the reins with the team that I'm working with, and really pushing the limits of what's possible with this current HODL token contract. It's been an honor. The community has been outstanding. They have been the best resource. I always say community first, coin second, because regardless of what you code into the contract or what you do with the coin, if you don't have a strong and intelligent community behind you, it doesn't matter. You won't get anywhere. And so, with these, various partnerships that I'll talk about tonight, we really believe that we're kind of raising the bar and pushing the limits of what's possible.
Ooh, really cool. Yeah. And, I can actually speak, towards the community there since, the first handle. We were rocking and rolling every night, getting that thing going. And, some of the folks I see on the call, it's just crazy, looking back to see where we're at now in the project. So it's really, exciting. It didn't start great, but it's came together just so beautifully. I mean, to me, it's just, crazy to see. It's a real gem in the space that kind of developed. But yeah. I want to talk more about, the actual coin itself too, right? Because HODL, obviously we're in the coin. We picked it alongside the Mavericks of DeFi as well, which is one of our peer groups in the space that we love, and we see a lot of you on the call. But in terms of the tokenomics, they're really intense, right? So maybe for more novice people that would be coming into the project, or maybe some of the angels here that have not invested in the HODL, I think it would be prudent to kind of highlight the tokenomics that surround the project. Alongside, what you're doing in the NFT space, right? Because I think that's really intriguing, and the way that comes together. I'm just really curious to hear it myself and also share with our folks here.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, the coin tokenomics, they are aggressive. They are not for the faint of heart, but they are very powerful. Currently, the contract is renounced. The liquidity is locked, so no changes can be made to the tokenomics. Right now, they're sitting at 25% on every transaction. So that's buy, sell, or transfer. 20% of that, so the overwhelming majority, is given back in the form of static reflections in, coins, HODL coins, back to the wallet holders. And then 5% is sent to, a developer wallet, of which we have, certain percentages for marketing and, dev tax and things like that. But the overwhelming percent share is, given back to the community. And then obviously the dead wallet, the black hole, if you will, is an actual wallet holder. So a lot of the percentage points that are given back to the community are burned every transaction. I think it's somewhere around 16 or 17% of that 20% are burned every transaction. So it's an incredibly deflationary token, and it really is quite powerful. I mean, as you mentioned, that initial bot strike day one, and then with the 300 Ethereum buyback that FLC did, that accelerated the tokenomics far beyond what was normally possible with the coin for the first 6 months even. And that was one of the key features that really got myself and a few others extremely interested in taking over this community coin and running with it and kind of bringing our vision and matching it up and pushing it forward into what it is today, and even coming forward in the next 2 weeks, and then beyond that as well. So the tokenomics are great.
No, I was just going to ask real quick. I mean, in terms of what we're talking about with the burn, that I've always heard the squeeze, right? And so I know it's a thing. I mean, can you just kind of highlight to the community on what happens with the router in this situation?
Yeah, it's super interesting actually. So there's been a few coins that have tried to do this non-organically, and then there's us, which is kind of one of the forefront runners of this particular mechanism. Basically, what's happening is that our coin is paired with Ethereum. So what that means is when the coin was first put out into the wild, there was a specific number of coins and a specific number of Ethereum that were paired together to give the coin its initial value. And as that router gets bought up, the coins in the table get taken off the table into people's wallets. The ratio between the amount of coins left and the amount of Ethereum, put up in its stead is steadily changing, so that it's more or less a parabolic curve as we get closer and closer to draining the amount of coins. And that means, in a simple matter of fact term, is as we, drain the router from, I think it's around 4% of coins available right now, as we drain that router farther and farther, the buys will start affecting the chart more and more in a bigger and bigger ratio compared to the sells. So we're going to see kind of like a crypto squeeze, if you will. And that's, we're super excited for that to start occurring. And it is an exponential curve. And it will come to effect, once we start utilizing some of our utility with this marketplace that I'll talk about soon.
I was literally leading into that, like thinking about it, because how does that work? Becoming a utility, right? And then having that situation on a router, and especially like the Elon NFT signed. So when all this happens with the NFT marketplace, can you just kind of highlight for me in general and everybody, like how this works, and what's kind of the purpose for it, right?
Yeah. So the purpose of the marketplace was not only to, step up above, the rest of crypto and what we thought we could do in the space, but also to lead into our tokenomics as best as we could, is in kind of a joint, handshake. Because our contract was renounced and the liquidity is locked, we had to definitely think outside the box. And that only brings, really smart people to the table that can bring some real, wealth And through that, we were able to, partner with Autographia, who is a premier, autographed, signed, tangible item collector. And they have a huge amount of inventory that's available. And, through chatting with them, we found that this signed Tesla model would be an absolute fantastic first item to offer to the crypto market. As everybody knows, the NFT space is growing hotter and hotter every day. I think Visa just purchased their first NFT the other day, and I think there was that rock that sold for some ungodly amount of money, and that's just a rock, right? We're offering, something completely different, something completely above and beyond. And from that NFT sale, we'll be taking 20% of the total sale value of that NFT, and pumping it directly back into the coin via buyback. So that's going to be going directly back onto the charts, and then those coins that are, bought are going to be utilized for contests, giveaways, prizes, and things of that manner. And then beside that, major NFT that we're selling, that has also, once again, it's been Beckett's authenticated. Beside that, major NFT, we'll also be selling a commemorative NFT for 0.05 ETH, and 70% of that will go towards marketing and development of the coin as well. So kind of three different ways, third being, an additional 10% on top of the 20% of the main auction item will be used for giveaways and, given back directly to, the HODL community members. We're going to pick 10 or 20 lucky community members and give back, 1 or 0.5% of the total sale volume per person. Because, we really believe in community. We've given out over $100,000 so far back to the community members to keep them rolling and, to keep them motivated and just to keep them online. They have been outstanding in, helping us move forward and helping the, growth and, bring the coin to their own networks and, share it with their family, share it with their friends. Once again, community first, coin second. But, to get back to that marketplace, we believe that's the real utility here, bringing, money from these NFTs, which are super, super hot, and, using that money to buy direct coins. That's providing utility. That is, at the end of the day, putting green on the chart and, putting money back into the hands of the holders. That's about as good as you can get. And we really believe that through this partnership with Autographia and, through our tokenomics, we are on the right path and we'll be pushing forward very soon.
No, I mean, it's a great scaling mechanism, right? Because essentially what I'm getting from it is you're using the NFT marketplace as streams of revenue to then inject back into the project for the betterment of it, right? Absolutely.
Yeah. And with decent sized buybacks too, fingers crossed, we can, market the NFT properly. And, we partnered with a few pretty critical stage pieces to really move that word out into the street and get it, spread as far and wide as possible.
Okay. And so, what impact would that have then on the router, given, I don't know what it's at now. I think the last time I checked, that was north of 70 something percent burned and 4% of it. I'm not too sure, but just how does that kind of, impact now with moving into this marketplace, with these streams of revenue coming back to the project, buybacks, everything else, all the inventory that'll probably be coming out within it, how does that affect the router? Does it speed it up, slow it down? Can you just kind of highlight that for me?
Yeah, absolutely. Right now, currently, I just had one of my community members send me the number of tokens right now available, and there's only 4% available, and that equates to about 52 trillion coins. There's 78% burned. There's 22% circulating. So yeah, if we can buy back from those NFT sales, it'll be accelerating that squeeze extremely quickly. It'll be a monumental event, because not only is that providing, quote unquote free money that somebody hasn't directly invested into the coin, but they're buying a tangible item. There's a handshake there, and then we're using that money instead of, putting it somewhere to sit. We're actually putting it back into the community so that, the community can choose what they want to do with that. There'll be a big green candle on the chart. There'll be a lot more liquidity. And through that, it just gives the community options. And that, empowering the community is really what we want to do.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. That's where, the success happens, is within communities, even our own here, at the Angels. So, absolutely. And I mean, that kind of leads me, to really my next question. With these funds, you're generating now as like a business, is what I would call you. The marketing side of it, are there funds being allocated, to this marketing? Because I have noticed, that you did, I forget the company, it was like North 6 or something along those lines, but a fairly large marketing firm that you partnered with. So are these funds going to be, going towards some of that marketing? And also, can you speak on, some of the marketing that you're doing and have done? Because I've seen, quite a bit of articles that I hadn't seen before. So it's just, around this NFT with Elon, the PR, it gets me more excited. So I'm just curious to hear how those funds would work in the marketing, and then what your plans on future marketing, but what you're doing first with it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, as you know, when a coin first launches, it's all about the initial pump. And we saw that. We had a big rise and then a pretty, quick fall. But that was all before we actually launched our main product. That was all just hype. And now that we have our product in hand, we've stepped our game up. And yeah, you're right. We partnered with, North 6A, a pretty big firm in New York, and they've delivered, in spades. So as you noticed, we have, multiple publications out now with journalists and newspapers, and, some notable ones being Bazinga, Business Insider, Finance Trends, all sorts, Finance Yahoo. So some pretty big names in there. And that was our goal. Once we had the marketplace live and a page where we could point people to, we really wanted to make a big name for ourselves and put a big splash out there in the pool. Before that, we were doing, the typical Twitter shills, the typical, Telegram AMAs. But now that we have kind of our product, we have what we believe to be the step up. We really want to elevate our game. And that was also, we really want to be partnering with and getting call outs from, groups like this, the DeFi Angels. You guys are incredibly intelligent group of investors, and you guys know which way is up. And, that's the type of team that we want to be associating ourselves with and moving forward with. So, going forward, we're going to be looking to do, more of these AMAs with you guys, and, more updates, and, continue to grow in the real world marketing space, and not just on, Telegram or Twitter, right? So, continually pushing the boundaries, continually pushing the envelope, and hopefully breaking through to those, majority of people that don't really know what crypto is, but they're looking in with curious eyes, and hopefully we can grab those people and kind of show them what we're doing with these, pretty prolific NFTs and tangible items.
Absolutely. I mean, what caught really my attention, again, was Benzinga. I've done a lot of work with Benzinga in the past in my cannabis endeavors in the early stages. So, a lot of startups, anything, being on Benzinga is a pretty big deal. Yahoo Finance, those were good articles that I was reading over. So, that to spin off of, especially with the NFT from Elon, that is a lot of steam. So I think the biggest thing that I look for is, the current state of the market and the positioning of it. And then it's all about timing and execution. So with, really with that being said, I mean, we attract the smart capital space. And, we've developed some avenues to, make that happen and bring in more traditional style investors. Are you planning on, any kind of marketing outside of what you're doing now, which is targeting them, but maybe like LinkedIn or, YouTube, any kind of ways to attract that smart capital in?
Yeah, absolutely. We've done a few YouTube videos now. I think if you YouTube, search Elon NFT, I think we're the top 3, 4, 5 first listings. with the new splash page that we brought up with our marketplace, we're going to be updating our website as well, and using some fancy footwork to get that out into the world. We're on Reddit, using some CMS posts and getting in the top top 5, top 6 people there, top posts, sorry. And really just trying to break into the real world. I hate to use that expression, but there definitely is kind of a glass wall in the crypto space that you need to break out of to get real attention. And it's a step-by-step process. You can't do it all in one night, and you have to bring real product. You can't just bring hopes and dreams and fairy dust. So moving forward, I think we'll be capitalizing on our NFT marketplace, and especially with items to come. If this NFT goes well, the sale, there's going to be a really nice buyback coming down the pipe, and more things to come. So I mean, there's definitely a bright future there. And then with marketing, having already been now in Benzinga and Yahoo Finance, it's just going to make it easier and easier for us to get out into the real world, because we'll have a track record of executing on our promises. And that's, to take a step back, that's how we kind of became, the team leads of this coin was, step-by-step trust exercises, slowly executing them in a way that made people understand that we were here and that we were working hard and we weren't sitting on our hands. I've seen it time and time again where a coin, launches, and then people think that the devs are doing something, and in reality, they're just kind of waiting for, fairy dust. And that's not the world I come from, and that's not the world that, a few of the team leads come from. We work hard. I've been putting in 15, 16-hour days pretty continually, answering questions in the community at 2, 3 in the morning my time, and then falling asleep with the phone in my hands and continuing on the next day. So, we're in this. We're not giving up.
Yeah, I can totally relate. Welcome to crypto, my friend. Right? Starting this company, it has been, with the Angels, has been an absolute just rocket ride for me. Up late, up early. I don't even think I sleep. And 90 day. But it's about the point, and it's about what DeFi is bringing in crypto in general, right? And the timing and the position where we're at in the market, given the current state of the traditional markets, it's very, very attractive to the demographics that are migrating in with larger capital. So, having a play like HODL, right? It's to me, I've always said this since really the first day to the FLC team and everybody there, but it's literally the war cry for the entire sector, right? So, just having that behind it to me was a lot. So now seeing, from that first day to really where the project has came now, and, partnerships with Autographia, it's crazy to see, and it's well-deserved. I think out of any community that, I've been a part of, the HODL community deserves it. And, I'm glad to see that these things are coming to fruition. The only question I guess I have before opening up this to the community, and if anybody does have questions, feel free to write them in the chat. The HODL team will have folks handy to answer those questions. And then also think of what you would like to ask. But let me ask you this. In terms of execution, I'm a big execution guy. What is the first step? Where are you going to thrive the most by executing these action marks, right? NFT, getting sold. Where is that execution going to kick in? Can you just kind of highlight, where is it going to, it's hard to say when it's going to take off, but where does the rubber meet the road when, the community can start getting excited? And is that on the bids, the NFT? I really want to understand this execution level of going through the buybacks, pumping that liquidity from the NFT sales back into the coin. Can you just talk about that one more time for me? Yeah,
absolutely. For me, the big moment is going to be seeing those bids coming in on that NFT. We've already secured the first bid of 7.5 Ethereum. And that's pretty amazing to have something locked in already, and the auction hasn't even opened yet. So that shows me that there's value in what we're bringing to market, and there's definitely demand for it in the NFT space. And I've been bouncing around Twitter Spaces for the past week with one of our community members, Carrie, and people are so surprised that we are able to actually bring this to market. Some of them don't even believe us. I have to point them to our website where they see the Beckett's authentication, and show them kind of the proof of it, and they are gobsmacked, And so for me, it's been really exciting to be able to market that, because it's totally unique. It's not a rock in the ground. It's not, something that's scribbled on a piece of paper. It's something tangible that a collector can have on their desk in their office or at home. It's a conversation piece. When they have people over at their house, it's a piece of Elon, really. And so, for me, the exciting part is going to be seeing those bids coming in and knowing that the community is going to be empowered by whatever it sells for. So, once that auction goes live and once we start getting bids and, start seeing some of the numbers, people are going to be crunching those in their head and saying, hey, 20% of that is coming directly back to the coin in the form of a buyback. That's instant capital. And then another 10% on top of that is being given away, basically by lottery to 10 or 20 random holders. So, just that alone, depending on what the thing sells for, is going to be monumental. And so that really turns my crank. That gets me excited, because for me, I'm about as straight shooter as they come. For me to be able to empower the community and give them options and put a smile on their face and, pay off their bills, or, let them hodl the coin for, 6 months, 2 years, whatever it may be, and watch those coins grow with the static reflections. That's really what I'm here for. I'm here, to make everybody money. I'm here to make an exceptionally good product with, an exceptionally good team, and, push the boundaries and push the bar of what can be done with a DeFi coin.
It's incredible. I mean, I would just say congrats to you, man. I mean, since I've been there since day one and looking at it where it's now and how you've, shifted this into a real business with real revenue that's injecting back into a product. I mean, it's tangible. You're speaking my language, coming from private equity VC, we like things we can jump on and touch and, throw stuff at, right? Like, so having, essentially, like you said, a piece of Elon, it's really cool. And I mean, it just sounds like I can have a piece of Elon. I mean, the way you put that in the NFT, I mean, that's, to me, I mean, really cool. And then we all know in the space, and really specifically in our group as we brainstormed, but NFTs, man, I mean, look at gas prices, look at everything. I mean, they are blowing up, going crazy. So you talk about timing and positioning, especially with a figure in the crypto space like Elon. It's perfect timing and positioning. So I just want to tell you congrats again, man. And I think that you've came so far, not you specifically, but the project, and you, my friend, have been there behind it, steering it. And I just, thank you and congrats at the same time as investors in the project. But just watching as, what's happened and where it's at now, it's truly unbelievable. And, I don't think it would have been possible without that core team that you have behind it. So, with that being said, personally, I don't have any more questions. I think, I've asked mine and I have a general understanding enough of the project, but maybe for newer investors, if you do have questions, you can feel free to raise your hand. Any of our core team here on the call, unmuted, feel free to ask questions, but we would like to keep, these sharp questions targeted towards the project, how it's going to be beneficial, but feel free to ask away. And again, if you're muted, feel free to raise your hand. We'll get you unmuted. And again, if you're just shy to speak, no worries. Feel free to type your question in the chat and we can get it answered. And then lastly, if you just want to remain private, you can feel free to DM myself or Kay that's on the call. and we'll happily ask the question for you. But I'll let the question time begin. And Justin, thank you, my friend, sincerely from me and all of the DeFi Angels. And again, congratulations. But now's question time. So I'm going to step back and then let you go for it. All right?
Yeah, roger that. I mean, I was just going to say, tell me an NFT that you can roll across your desk that has a Elon Musk signature on it. I don't think there's one out there. So
no, you're making me play it.
What's an NFT? What's an NFT? Well, I'll tell you what. Just roll it across your desk and you'll find out. But excited to hear some of these questions.
Awesome. So the floor is open. Anybody from the HODL community, the DeFi Angel community, the Mavericks are in here. If anybody has any questions, make your voice heard, type in the chat or raise your hand. We're happy to hear from you and would really appreciate questions.
I will also be reading through the chat. So if anyone has any questions, you can just put it on chat and I'll answer over voice.
Everyone's shy today. Could you guys share some of the particular one in the chat for me?
Sorry, can you say that again, Kay?
I was asking if you could share. I just wanted to see a visual.
Oh, of the NFT.
Yes, please.
Of course. Yeah, one moment. I will post it right now.
Thank you so much.
Not a problem. There you go. Now, forgive me because Telegram does neuter the quality of the recording. So I think I have a better one actually. Stand by. Telegram is like Facebook. It kills all quality when you send things.
Yeah, I'm not surprised.
There we go. That's a better one.
I mean, on the NFT with the signature, I mean, is that licensed specifically to like HODL, right? I mean, it's an NFT. Can you just kind of maybe highlight, that's really cool that it's signed by Elon. So if that's the case, it gives it more value to me as an investor. Can you just kind of highlight maybe for people that don't know about copyrights, trademarks, anything like that could be helpful just around that?
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? It's crazy. You have an Elon signature. But anyways, go ahead. Yeah,
no, it is crazy. Not only do we have the signed car, we have a video of him actually signing that car. And then we have the Beckett's authentication letter that signifies that it's all been, above the belt and it's all true and, there's no funny business going on. So I think for anyone who knows Beckett's, that's kind of the golden standard of the collector industry. You can't question if it's legit, if it's coming from Beckett's. And so they've marked the NFT with, the AA00 number. And they've also stamped that on the actual vehicle as well, the actual model Tesla. And so if anybody were to try to mess with it and, there was any kind of verification process, Beckett's would know immediately if that was tampered with. And keep in mind, the NFT is a 1-for-1. There's no copies made. And so whoever owns that, they'll own it in, perpetuity. There's nothing, it's a locked NFT. You can't modify it. So it's basically the only one in the world that's like that. So in terms of a collector, it gets no better, because not only does the NFT provide a form of insurance against the actual physical tangible item, but it also bridges the gap between the digital DeFi space and the regular, collector space, if you will.
Interesting. I mean, I know NFTs are going crazy right now. Actually, one of our investor members in the chat, Cody, I don't know if you want to come online and ask your question. I'll ask it. So Cody wants to know just the opinion on how these crazy gas prices are having an effect on the current HODL chart. Is that an impact right now?
Absolutely. I mean, I think the last time I tried to just trade Ethereum to another Ethereum wallet, it was like $15. And we all know that used to be 30, 40 cents to do that trade. And so what's been happening is, because this NFT craze has been so wild recently, OpenSea and all of the NFT marketplaces are sucking up a lot of the miner equity and a lot of the processing power in the network, which has caused the price per transfer or price per trade to go way up. And what that does is it kind of inhibits a lot of the small buys that can happen on a chart, and that's for any coin really. What will happen is, you'll want to do a $50 buy-in, but your gas prices will be $50. So you gotta, you're basically neutering your buying potential. And so a lot of people are either just waiting and stockpiling their Ethereum for, the slow periods in the day where, maybe middle of the night or early morning when the miners, aren't operating at peak capacity. But it's definitely affecting the charts in a negative way because there's less volume coming to the charts than there would be otherwise.
Hey Justin, I was curious if you could tell everybody more about the potential following auctions after the Elon Musk, what's to come next with that?
That's a great question, Carrie. So that's a pretty interesting question because not only do we have a ton of items that are, equal or higher caliber, but we have kind of our pick of the litter for what comes next for the most part. So Autographia has, signed passports from Thomas Jefferson. They have the Beatles records that have been signed. They have baseballs from, signed from Babe Ruth. They have, signed guitars from Kings of Leon and all these things. So you're basically, covering all different markets and themes within the world. And we chose the Elon model cars because we thought, obviously Elon, for better or worse, has a massive pull in the crypto world. And we had the video of him signing the car, talking about, the DeFi space and crypto coins. And, what better way to make a grand opening than with Elon. So, following this, all goes well. We got a plethora of, extremely high value items that will pretty much blow out of the water anything else that's being offered right now in the NFT space.
Definitely. I think some of that's, it's really cool how there's different, categories for, people who are history buffs. So we've got some really cool options for that, and sports and music and everything. So it's really cool. The other thing I was wondering if you wanted to share with people who aren't familiar, I know a lot of the HODL community knows already, but and I may have missed it. If you've already done it, I apologize. But about the commemorative NFT and, our current contests and things like that, that might be interesting to potential, people who are interested in investing or knowing more about what we're doing for the community.
Yeah, that's another good point. Thank you for bringing that to my attention. So right now, as I mentioned, I think before, we do a lot of community events with our token. And we've launched with the marketplace, going live. We have what we're calling an NFT auction night. And so anyone that holds a commemorative NFT, and like I mentioned, they're being sold for 0.05 ETH, which I think is currently about $150 US. So anyone that holds one of those tokens at the end of the time period, which I think is finishing on Friday or Saturday, is open to win one prize of $2,500 of HODL coin. And so I think right now there's maybe 50 people that hold those commemorative NFTs. And so the probability of somebody actually winning that is very, very high. You know, like your probability of winning that is way higher than playing the some kind of lottery, and that's $2,500 going back to a community member. That's just the beginning. We're excited to do more with these NFTs that are being sold and really give back. 70% of the money going from this commemorative NFT is going right back into marketing and development of the coin. So it's not only powering the community by giving back that $2,500, but it's also a use case, utility, if you will, for the coin moving forward. And these commemorative NFTs will go beside the main NFT that's being sold for every one of our items. So people can know that, they were there when the lights came on and the doors opened for our first marketplace item, and for every item, coming forward, starting now.
Awesome, thanks. And then real quick, while you were talking about that, it kind of made me think about something that is good, I think, to tell the people who may be new to the community about how we do give back. Some, what's our tally at now? Like almost 100,000 or just over?
It's over 100,000 now, actually. Yeah, it's pretty wild. So that started from almost day one of us getting some of that dev share from FLC. We really wanted to empower the community to go forward, and we really wanted to be able to push the limits and just allow the community to have options. That's at the end of the day, if you can say to yourself, I have a few options that I could take right now, the community isn't trapped. That's really what it comes down to, and that's really what we're striving for with this. So moving money into the community's hands, that's our main mission. Yeah. So if anyone has any questions about how we're doing that and stuff like that, I'm more than happy to answer.
Hey, I've got a quick one.
Yeah.
So, what contests or I suppose Okay, so do you have anything in mind for some of your smaller holders? Because don't get me wrong, like all these NFTs and stuff are really great, but for those that can't engage with these contests where they're making purchases, do you have things planned for some of your core community members that have been around but unfortunately are still waiting on payday?
Yep. So we just had a shilling contest a few days ago where we gave away a few NFTs and a few $100 to community members that put in the extra effort to get our name out there and to really promote the coin. I think we gave away a few $100 and quite a few NFTs that they could sell afterwards if they wanted to. But the majority of people, I think, are holding on to them.
Yeah. It's funny, I've noticed that because I'm sure I'm a big NFT person, and if there wasn't a contest attached to this last NFT that you're giving away, because I can't own any HODL, you guys know that, but I've actually been eyeing a few of them. They look pretty nice, so one of you guys might end up seeing, if you have them up for sale, you might end up seeing a transaction in the next few weeks. So don't put it up too high, all right? Do me a favor.
No, fair enough.
No, I'm outbid. I'm already stepping in. I'm gonna outbid. But no, I wanted to talk.
Oh my God, Taylor, dude, really?
Yep, I'm coming in hard, Margaret. But I do know people, are on time constraints tonight, so we do like to keep these real coordinated. I do have one more just kind of question and really more of a reflection of the project. I mean, at the beginning of it, one thing I look at as an investor, is what has been put in a project in terms of finance or skin in the game, for lack of better terms. And one thing that really stuck out about HODL was the, financial amount that was injected and locked into the project. And personally, I forget the amount, but it was extraordinary. I mean, what was that number?
It was about 325 ETH, I think.
And so what would that
either 325 or 225. It was about $500,000.
And that's locked in the project, and that's, invested by people that are behind the project. So, as an investor, that's one of the first things I love to look at, and what I would call startup companies, right? Is, how much have you put in? And to hear that amount is, I think it gives investors a lot of confidence knowing, the team that's behind it, the dedication that's been put into this, and now to see where it's came to with an NFT marketplace. Again, just congratulations. But in closing, that was my final question. Justin and Margaret, thank you for answering. But, quite a capital injection. It's locked for, over 100 years. I know that. So it's not going anywhere. And, that'll stay there. So very interesting, just being an investor and knowing that. Again, it just sticks out to me a lot. But in closing, does anybody here on the call have any more questions for Justin and the HODL team? You can feel free to ask now or ask in the chat before we wrap up. Hands raised. Questions in the chat.
I will say this. It's not just me. I'm surrounded, and my business partner J-Dubs here. Like, we are surrounded by a multitude, many dozens of people that are incredibly talented and incredibly well connected, and through respectful conversation, we've tried to leverage those connections as much as we can, and we continue to do that, and hopefully bring what we're doing, our work project, as far forward as we possibly can. And I feel like we're on the tipping point right now. Like, we're truly at the end of the diving board, ready to make a giant splash into the NFT world. And the more people that we can tell about what we're doing and show our work ethic and show kind of our game plan, I think the better. And so once again, Taylor, I so appreciate having us on. To my team, wouldn't be able to do this without y'all. Like, it's 100% community first, coin second. Each and every one of our community members are intelligent and asking questions and trying to learn more, and all various stages of growth and development. And I'm just super proud. Like, it's pretty amazing to be able to look back at day one and remember where I was sitting, and remember that the first day being pretty volatile, and then kind of running from there and just seeing where it went, and then getting a core group of people together and pushing it to new heights, and then growing our product and developing some fantastic relationships along the way. So thank you, everybody. So appreciate it.
And as an official pick of the DeFi Angels, just know that we're always here for you, and we're going to be by your side, and in any capacity and bandwidth that we can help. That we're here, and we support HODL 100%, and we're stoked to see the execution. So let's not start the party quite yet, but let's get to work, right? And then let's go all celebrate and have a HODL meetup, maybe on an island that one of our whales will buy, that's in the chat all the time. How about that? Sound good?
That sounds pretty good. I'm in.
The HODL meetup coming soon to an island near you. I like the ring to that. Within we you know what? We may even get Elon, and it's recorded. So if he hears this, you're coming to the HODL party. DeFi Angels is going to power.
Oh my
but
God.
Hey, Justin, thanks
Taylor,
again.
you best buy me a ticket, man.
What's that?
I said, you best buy me a ticket, man. I can't own none of this stuff. Over at FLC, I'm sat here watching you guys changing the game, and I'm over here like, damn. Ooh, if only I had a bag. Nah, great work though, guys. This is amazing.
Yeah. We're gonna splash, baby. That's what the DeFi Angels does. That's what HODL does. So we're in it. and big things are coming. So, you know, this AMA has been great. And I want to personally thank, you know, all the HODL community, our DeFi Angels here. Also, shout out to the Mavericks of DeFi. I know that you're behind this project as well, and we look at you as peers in the space. So, you know, thank you to all the good people in DeFi. You know, that's who we're aligning ourselves with. You know, that's smart capital, and that's what we aim to represent. So, in closing, again, thank you to everybody on the call. We're going to go ahead and kill the recording now, and we'll start the sharing mechanism with the communities. Okay?
Awesome.